Hey guys, man, it is late. But we're going to do this anyway because I promised you. And when I promise, I do things. Okay, so hi, my name is Graham, and I am honestly Mama G all over Facebook and Twitter and the interwebs. And I just want to say a quick hello to all of my replay viewers. Probably most of my viewers for this Periscope are going to be replay viewers because if you're on the East Coast, it is Betty by time. Okay, so all week long we have been talking about self-care, and we've been talking about activating your village. How do you put out the call that you need help? Last night we had a great discussion about doing this at work. And tonight's plan is to talk about doing this at home, and specifically doing this around parenting. And you know, when I was thinking about it, when I was kind of planning this out and gaming it out in my head, I realized something, that they are very, very similar. It's a job, and it's a tough job, and it's really hard to find that line between saying, I need help, I need help, I need help, and looking like an idiot who can't handle anything. So we're going to walk that line a little bit. The first, and I guess the most important thing when you are trying to accomplish self-care as a parent is to deal with however you were parented when you were a child. I am still working on that. Everybody has different things that they have to work on when it comes to that. But it's very hard to parent your child the way that you want to, whatever way that is. But to parent your child the way that you want to when you are still dealing with a lot of issues from how you were parented to begin with. So if there is any way that you can work with somebody on that, or work by yourself on that, but give yourself as much love and care and understanding as you possibly can surrounding whatever issues come up for you with that. If your parents are in the picture of your parenting, that can add a whole other layer. And it could be a great layer, or it can be a not so great layer, or it can be both, depending on the day, or the hour, or the mood of your children, yourself, and your parent. But it can get tricky. It can get really, really tricky to deal with a grandparent who is overbearing, or who does not help at all, or anywhere on that spectrum. With the overbearing grandparents, I really recommend not asking them for help. Your self-care and your village at that point does not need to include them unless you can give them a very specific thing to do. Your kid's birthday party is coming up. You need them to go and buy these plates. You need them to pick up the cake. You need them to do this very specific thing. Because you let them in, hey, thanks for joining. Because if you let a really overbearing grandparent in to your parenting choices, they will take over, and you will find yourself shrinking smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and that's just, it does not feel good. That is not self-care. That is not the way that you take care of yourself as a mom or as a dad. On the other side of that spectrum, when you've got somebody who is just not interested at all, that is another person who's really hard to ask for help, because they don't really care. And it might not be that they don't care. It might just honestly be that they don't know how to help you. You might find out that the grandparent that you thought was completely uninterested actually is very lost in how to do it. Quick example, my dad is not a baby person. My dad doesn't really start dealing with kids well until they're 4 or 5, until they kind of get sarcasm and his very strange sense of humor. That's when he does well. problem is that my son is almost 3. My daughter is 5 months old. My dad is 87. I would like my son to have some memories of my dad, and he's 87. So, you know, who knows what's going to happen. I came up with this great idea that Andrew needed a bike. It was not his idea at all. It was my idea that Andrew needed a bike and that my dad was going to buy him the bike. And then I called my dad and told him, you are going to buy your grandson a bike. This is how it's going to work. It wasn't quite that easy. There was some wrangling back and forth, oddly enough, on dates and times because Dad is just special. But what it came down to was my dad and my son and I at a Toys R Us about 5 minutes after it opened on a Saturday morning. And there was no one there. There was just me and Dad and Andrew and an entire toy store. And Andrew had actually never been to a toy store before, ever, because I am that parent. It was the cutest. It was I don't know if Andrew will remember that forever, but I will remember that forever. I didn't even realize that was self-care until I was driving home trying not to cry because I felt so amazing. It was such a sweet moment to see the two of them holding hands going down the aisle, and how Andrew made my dad pull out every single bike on the row. He had to look at every single bike on the row. He had to get on and off all of them over and over and over again, and I was losing my patience, and Dad was just having the best time. And anybody who knows him would think that this was just a really weird story because he's just not that involved. It is an amazing memory. It is a wonderful memory. The only thing that makes me upset about it is that I did not take a picture. No pictures. Had my cell phone on me the whole time. I have 0 pictures. Yeah. So, but yeah, I always thought that my dad just wasn't that involved, just wasn't that interested, just wasn't that good at being a grandpa until I reached out, until I decided to pull him into my village and say, look, you're doing this. You're doing this. It's going to happen. We have all had those moments, and this is why, you know, sometimes memories should just be memories. I decided to just accept it, that it should just be a memory and not a picture. And it can be a great story that I tell Andrew in case he doesn't remember it. But hopefully he will remember the day he got his first big boy bike, because it also looks like a bike. It has training wheels, but it looks like a bike. This is not, you know, one of those big wheel things. This is a bicycle, big boy bike. He was very, very serious about that part. Okay, so we've talked about bringing in grandparents, and we've talked about how you deal with the way that you were parented. Then there's another person in this relationship, which is whoever you are parenting with. If you are parenting with somebody, maybe you're not parenting with anybody, but you should be. They should be parenting with you, and they're not. For whatever reason. For so many reasons. This is where you're going to have to define your boundaries. You're going to have to try and figure out, for you, and everybody is different, is it worth it for you to keep chasing this person's time, to keep chasing their money, to keep chasing their affection for your child? If you're chasing their affection for yourself, that's a whole other thing, and it's a whole other thing. That's a whole other scope. We'll talk about that later. But if, you know, is it worth it? Is there a way that you can automate it? Here's another thing. Can you set up those monthly reminder emails that their child support is due? Can you set up monthly or weekly reminder emails? Remember, you're supposed to be picking your son up on Saturday morning, or your daughter up on Wednesday night. Or, you know, can you just put together a Google Calendar? Both of you guys are in the Google Calendar. You put the stuff up. Whether that other person shows up or not is now out of your hands. You have given them all the information that you could. You have set the reminders. You don't have to actually talk to them. So both of your stress levels can stay down. Thank you. And it's not a passive-aggressive 10 text messages a day. And it's not, you know, it doesn't stress you out. You set the Google Calendar and that's it. And you walk away. Because here's the really horrible and hard truth, is that you cannot make them parent. And while your child is going to miss out on some things, and that is just, I'm going to start crying, that they don't deserve to miss out on. They deserve to have mom or dad there all the time, whenever they need them. And the person who should be parenting with you should be parenting with you. You did not make that baby by yourself. They should be there, and they should be doing all of those things. At some point, they made a decision, and they're either going to do it or they're not. And if they're not, then that ball is back in your court, and it's up to you. How are you going to handle that? You have to do it in whatever way will take care of you the most. Whatever way will get you through whole the most. Because this is one of those times that you put your oxygen mask on first. You will not be able to explain this situation to your child if you haven't come to terms with it yourself. You will not be able to support them and be there for them when they're crying because mommy or daddy didn't show up if you're still too bitter and too angry about mommy and daddy not showing up that you can't fully be present for them. Then they end up with one half of one parent. And that's not fair. It's horrible. All of this is horrible. There are so many divorce stories and ways that people have been divorced or not even married in my family. My family is interesting. Somebody should put us on a TV show. One of the things that my immediate parents were able to do is, and I don't know really how they did it, is deal with multiple divorces in a way that leaves me saying that I have 3 sisters instead of saying that I have 3 half-sisters. Because if you want to get all legal and technical about it, they are half-sisters. But in my world, in my life, in my heart, and in my, in my children's eyes, and in my family, they are my sisters. I've got all kinds of uncles and cousins that I am not related to at all. I have a brother who is not actually my brother, except he's my brother. There are all kinds of ways that you can create your family. And I feel like the family sometimes that you put together for yourself has a much stronger bond than the family that you were born into. You can do that for your child. They might not have their mother in their life, but you can create multiple mothers. You can have wonderful women around you in your family that fulfill that role for your child. They may not have a father in their life where they can say, that's my dad. But they can have amazing men in their life who support them and teach them and have their back. It is doable. It is so hard. It is unfair. You should not have to do it. But it is doable. It has been done many, many times. And if they can do it, you can do it. I believe in you. I have faith in you. I totally think that you can handle this. This is one of those times when self-care is very, very important because, like I said, you have to take care of you before you can take care of your child. Okay, so coming to terms with how you have been parented, dealing with the extremes of grandparents, dealing with a possibly absent co-parent. What about when you're married and you're right there together and you're still struggling for whatever reason? How do you ask for help when you feel like they are working just as hard as you are? Because that's rough too. There are times when I feel so guilty because I need something from Adam, because I know that he is working just as hard during the day at his job. He is working just as hard to be a good dad as I am to be a good mom. We are both pulling on these oars so hard, and then something just stops me and I just, babe, I need you to reach over here and push with me. And I feel like, how can I ask him to do that when he's doing this and this and this and this and this and this and this? Well, there's a couple ways I can ask him to do that. I have to, because this is stuff that has to get done. We are parenting these children together. We've got to raise these children. So when it comes to something that is kid related and I can't do it and I need help, it is much healthier for me to say, I can't do this, I need help, than it is for me to push my way through and then end up stressed and totally incapable of getting anything done later. The other thing is that I model self-care. I model self-care for him so that he knows on the days when he needs help, he can say, babe, I need help with this. I also am modeling self-care for the kids so that they see that I don't have to be Superwoman. There will be no Superwoman syndrome in my house. There will be no Superman syndrome in my house either. That's not going to happen. My son is not going to think that, you know, a woman can do it all and or should do it all. I could do it all. No, I probably couldn't. I don't want to, is the thing. I'm not interested in doing it all at all. And my daughter is definitely not going to think that she has to carry the weight of the world on her shoulders. Yeah, no, nope. The value of partnership is definitely, and a family pulling together as a team is definitely something that we have already started modeling for him, just by me saying it in front of him. I need help. And Adam saying in front of him, what can I do? This is the amount of time and energy that I have, and you can have it all. And that's a big thing. That's a big thing. So, yes. Okay. I feel like we've torn through a lot pretty quickly tonight. I know that you guys might have some questions about all of this. Go ahead, and I know my awesome replay people who shoot me things on Twitter. I love you guys. Go ahead and shoot me questions on Twitter. Shoot me questions on Facebook. Those are fabulous too. Please come and join us in the Self-Care Squad on Facebook. It's bit.ly/Self-Care Squad. Or you can just go to Facebook and search Self-Care Squad. Either way. Whatever you feel like doing. Come and join us. We are growing by leaps and bounds, and we are a community of people that is trying to support each other on this self-care journey. All kinds of people doing all kinds of stuff. Some parents and some not parents. Some working and some not working. Everything. And all are welcome. So come and check us out. Okay? So tomorrow's homework, because tomorrow is Friday, which is the day before Self-Care Saturday, my favorite day of the week. Tomorrow's homework is to brainstorm and let me know what you are going to be doing for Self-Care Saturday or Self-Care Sunday or both. You get bonus points for doing both. You get extra points for doing both. My Self-Care Saturday is going to be really good. You guys are going to want to hear about this because I am going to have all kinds of fun this weekend. So I'm going to brag a little bit tomorrow, and you guys are going to brag too. You're going to come to me with ideas, and you are going to brag. I want to hear everything tomorrow. Hey, Amber. All right. So that is pretty much it for tonight. You can definitely catch this again because it'll be up on all of my social media. And I will get in touch with all of you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow night, probably around 10 or 10:30 because that seems to be working for us. And in the meantime, I want you all to be very nice to yourselves. Okay? Have a great night. Bye.